Okay, so before we get started with the Tribotex 3-year review, I need to make a note about these motors do not have Tribotex in the motor oil right now. And I am in no way affiliated with Tribotex. They've never paid me any money, and I have purchased all their products with my own money. Okay, so one thing in the videos, I record the tensioner pulley, and that is to show how smooth everything is. And so what happens is when your compression isn't even, it'll start to vibrate a bunch because you're not getting even speed out of each power stroke, and so that causes that tensioner pulley to start to move in and out. You'll notice I can't get a really good view on the diesel, but it's not moving. My Blazer, and that is barely vibrating at all, and so that is showing you the evenness of the effort out of each cylinder. Today I'm doing my third year's Tribotex review. Today I'm driving my Chevy Blazer, which has had a Tribotex in it, and it's got Tribotex in the transmission. So these, I've had a remanufactured transmission put in this Blazer, and the shift from first to second was a little bit slow when it's cold, but the Tribotex seems to have taken care of it. And I put that transmission in 2019. That's when I bought the pickup truck, and so I haven't even started this vehicle today. So temperature right now is about 40 degrees, and let's get started. That's how fast the Tribotex starts. Tribotex treated motor starts right up. So see how it goes. One thing I've noticed with the Tribotex is that on these higher mileage vehicles, that the brakes with that brake booster will start to gauge the brakes right at the very top. Seems to improve the vacuum on it, on the motor. So let's see here. See here. Oh, temperature 44 degrees it says, but that's off by about 3 degrees, so 41 degrees is what it actually is. See how good the shifts. Not slow. It's a good shift there. So every motor I've done Tribotex on has, unless there's been something mechanically wrong, has started to run essentially like a brand new motor, or maybe even a little bit better than that. Alright, so Tribotex, let's get back on the highway. So Tribotex works pretty good as long as your motor's in decent mechanical shape already. Like, you're not going to fix like stuck rings. You're not going to fix overheated rings, like you overheated your motor and you lost a spring in your compression rings. Tribotex will not help you there. But if your rings still have good spring to them and they're not stuck, then Tribotex will help you. So far as oil pressure is concerned, you'll end up gaining about 2.5 to 5 psi of oil pressure, what I've seen. And the nice thing about Tribotex is you use it in one oil change and it does not wear off easily. It takes, you can go like 3 years without doing another application. So 30 to 40,000 miles, you're good. So, but with that, so a better working motor is a motor that uses less fuel. And so in the end, I mean, you're paying for all this, for this treatment, but then you end up saving, let's say, 1 mile per gallon on the highway, or 2. You're doing like 2-3%, but it's spread out over 40,000 miles approximately. You recover your cost on the treatment. You see, I'm just doing moderate acceleration. This motor right here is keeping up just fine with traffic, taking off from the traffic light. The transmission's shifting smooth, and I did it, and I mentioned earlier I've done Tribotex treatment. So basically for the transmission, you just put Tribotex in, and it's in there for the duration of your transmission fluid change. So it's like, sure, the treatment says it lasts 80,000 miles, but you're changing your transmission fluid on an SUV or passenger car about every 100,000 miles. So one treatment lasts that long, shifts smoother, transmission runs smoother, cooler. Oh, that's one other thing I've noticed. Your motor runs cooler. My motors run cooler, and transmission runs cooler, differentials run cooler when I treat them with Tribotex. And with all these parts running cooler, I'm not just saving money in gas, but I have to repair these motors less frequently. For example, EGR valves, PCV valves, spark plugs, all the things that dress the motor are being replaced less frequently. Less vibration, less heat under the hood, longer life on components. The treatment pays for itself in 2 ways. One is better fuel economy, and second is fewer repairs. So I don't feel like I'm losing any money doing a Tribotex treatment. My favorite place of using Tribotex is in snowmobiles, 2-stroke snowmobiles. It'll tighten up it tightens up those motors so good on a 2-stroke snowmobile. It's like running a pristine build on a 2-stroke motor for over 2,000 miles. I rebuilt a 2-stroke snowmobile motor, took it apart, and one of the cylinders had been damaged from a screw getting inside before I ever owned the snowmobile. Both cylinders. One was in great shape, the other one has scuffing marks in it. Both of them ran 120 psi, and I'm living at about 4,600 feet. 120 psi, ran great. The only reason why it had to be rebuilt was the crank ended up breaking. So I had to rebuild the motor for that reason, but not for compression reasons. So the Tribotex sealed up that motor, kept it sealed for 2,000 miles with a damaged cylinder. Ran just great. I have videos of that snowmobile. In fact, My February video from 2024 is that sled prior to a couple months prior to the crank breaking, with approximately 3,000 miles on the build, running 120 psi, both cylinders even. So yes, Tribotex works, provided you don't have your rings that are been overheated. So yeah, don't overheat your motor. I mean, as far as fixing these motors now, I don't really fix them very often. All I can say is thanks, Tribotex. You're saving me time. Time is money. And people may say, you know, oh, this stuff's snake oil, and they can keep paying more for fixing their vehicles. Okay, there's the Tribotex treated motor. See, it's pretty smooth. Okay, this is my diesel truck that's been Tribotex treated. It runs super smooth, just the way Tribotex treated motors run. They all end up with pretty much 100% even compression across all the cylinders, so they just run about as smooth as glass. So I haven't started this yet today, but I'll show you that this thing starts just like it did 2 years ago. Alright, let's go look under the hood real quick. Okay, here's a Blackstone Lab report with Tribotex in the oil. It's Pennzoil Platinum 0W20, about 3,300 miles on it. And this car is driven in extreme driving conditions. Lots of short trips, city driving, almost no highway. What little highways it gets is like 2 miles of highway, which is just accelerating up to this full speed and then stopping. So, see, the numbers are all good. Just looks like regular oil. Everything looks like you would expect from the oil. It was just the TBN, as in the report up above, states time for oil change, which occurred shortly after getting the report back.